pews, please join me in a moment of solemn prayer. Thank you. Would you please stand for the pledge? Salute. Pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. A few housekeeping items prior to starting. Definitely, rezoning is a tough and strong topic right now. I received several emails to community very passionate with who that will be. Tonight we have a pretty long meeting, we have a hearing to get to as well, and a couple of things in this session. So we're going to try our best to start a little late, about 5:35. We're going to try our best to manage this time and get out of here about 6:35. So in order to get through our process, I would like to move our public participation to the end, so we can navigate through our process for the action items, so we have that time to go for any discussion. So I'll ask the board member to give a motion to accept.
Motion to move public participation to the end of our meeting.
Second. Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. One more topic. Vice President has asked several times, both publicly and also to myself, about recording, audio recording our board meetings. And definitely want to honor that. I think that's a fantastic idea. So we're going to implement that in our next board meeting, moving forward to audio recording. And also, Dr. Murray will stay archive that on our Hoover website. So thank you, Mr. President. We have before you the agenda. Do we have a motion to move?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Agenda has been approved. Now we have recognition. Let me say this first. Apologize. Chris Robin, Principal, Barry, thank you so much for hosting us tonight. We're at Trace Crossing on Mass. You may stand up. Thank you so much for hosting us tonight.
Dr. Murphy, Mr. Murphy, members of the board, it's my pleasure to recognize one of our outstanding principals this evening. We'll also be recognizing a number of teachers tonight and a couple of programs. So it'll be myself and then Mrs. Dunn and then Dr. Smith. First of all, our principal of the evening, Dr. Dilhani Eswate, principal of Rocky Ridge Middle School. Would you please come down? Rocky Ridge Elementary School. I've known Dale a very long time, and she has amassed a number of honors in her career as a math teacher extraordinaire and as a school leader. She's recently been recognized as a TEDx Birmingham Education Fellow, and she will be attending the Milken Foundation as a speaker for the National Institute for Excellence in Teaching Conference in New Orleans, I believe, this summer. So, Dale, you just continue to lead your encouragement of teacher leaders. It's just making an impact. So thank you for everything that you do to mentor others and to see the teachers have a role as leading in schools. Thank you. I have been in this auditorium enough on Awards Day to know what happens when people are walking up and down these bleachers. So if you're a teacher or a principal who's going to be part of the Teacher of the Year or Jacksonville State Hall of Fame recognition, if you could just take a minute to gather over here, I think that would save us some noise. And
You all did not have to go way back there. If you all have ever had the opportunity to hear Dr. Weiss, our state superintendent, give a talk, almost 100% of the time he begins everything he says with, the job I'm most proud of is being a teacher. And I think he stole that from me. I'm teasing. But I will tell you far and away, the job I'm most proud of is being a teacher. And tonight we honor some of the very best teachers in our district. This is one of my most favorite times of the year when we really honor the people that work with our students in those trenches day after day. I asked Mr. Giangrosso if I could share this because a Spain Park teacher shared a letter that came to Mr. G very recently. And I thought as we were about to recognize these teachers this evening, that nothing better represented the spirit of this evening and the spirit, most importantly, of what you all do than this letter from a former student. And he graciously said I could share with you all. Dear teachers, thank you. Thank you for all the energy you invested in making sure I learned valuable things, even beyond the class material. Thank you for teaching me that there is more to life than school. Thank you for showing me what it takes to be a good person. Thank you for treating me respectfully and treating me like a friend. Thank you for challenging me and encouraging me when I thought I couldn't do it. Thank you for inspiring me every day. Thank you for showing me what it's like to work hard and to care about your job. Thank you for always believing in me. I will forever appreciate and treasure your kindness. I hope to stay in touch and I wish you all the best. Please never underestimate the impact you have on a student's life. As a new student here my freshman year, I cannot stress enough how much I value the teachers who made me feel comfortable and welcomed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't think there could be anything better said about what we're here to do tonight, to honor teachers who do that every day. I always say that teachers are the heart and soul of the work that we do in this district, and teachers, I'm so proud of you. So without further ado, I'm going to call their names by school, and principals or family members, if you are in the audience when we recognize your representative, I hope that you will stand in their honor. So first of all, from Berry Middle School. The Berry Middle School teacher, and I always tell these teachers, is the biggest honor you can have is to be recognized by the people who know your work every day. If you proceed in any one of these competitions, to be honest, you proceed based on your resume, you proceed based on essays that you write, but the reason these people are standing over here right now is because of the work that their leaders and colleagues know they do day after day after day. So that is a huge honor. So from Berry Middle School, the Berry Middle School Teacher of the Year is Miss Jessica Badia. And I know the next one's not here because he let me know, the Berry Middle School JSU Hall of Fame nominee is Lincoln Clark, and he's coaching his son's lacrosse team. I got an email. Congratulations. From Blood Park Elementary, the Blood Park Elementary Teacher of the Year is Catherine Flippo. And the Love Park JSU Hall of Fame nominee is Amanda Walker. The Bronx Gap Intermediate Teacher of the Year nominee is Christy Willis. The Bronx Gap JSU Hall of Fame nominee is Allison Dolan. Crossroads School Teacher of the Year nominee is Leslie Green, and she is in class tonight, so she cannot be here, but congratulations to Leslie. The Crossroads JSU Hall of Fame nominee is Sue Martindale. The Deer Valley Teacher of the Year nominee is Carrie Wallace. The Deer Valley JSU Hall of Fame nominee is Beth Hankins. The Green Valley Elementary Teacher of the Year is Erica Russ. The Green Valley JSU Hall of Fame nominee is Tina West. Our gravestone honorees could not be here tonight because they are having a PE extravaganza. I know I'm not saying the right thing at Gravestone Elementary, but their Teacher of the Year nominee is Lita Hote, and their JSU Hall of Fame nominee is Rand Payton, who are both PE teachers at Gravestone. So congratulations to them. The Gwynn Elementary School Teacher of the Year nominee is Danny Berengill. The Gwynn Elementary JSU Hall of Fame nominee is Tracy Engelwright. The Hoover High School Teacher of the Year nominee is Matthew Walker. The Hoover High School JSU Hall of Fame nominee is Stacy Avant. The Berry Middle School Teacher of the Year nominee is Beanie Sharamonte. The Bubba's Middle School JSU Hall of Fame nominee is Marva Rady. The River Chase Elementary School Teacher of the Year nominee is Mary Long. The River Chase Elementary JSU Hall of Fame nominee is Elizabeth Dunn. The Rocky Ridge Teacher of the Year nominee is Abby Northington. The JSU Hall of Fame nominee for Rocky Ridge is Brianna Sabatini. The Shades Mountain Elementary School Teacher of the Year nominee is Jennifer Collins. The Shades Mountain Elementary School JSU Hall of Fame nominee is Marla Van Sant. Middle School Teacher of the Year could not be here because the Simmons Middle School Teacher of the Year is choreographing for the Hoover High School Show Choir, and it is Miss Dale Kincaid. So congratulations. The JSU Hall of Fame nominee is Eric Ness from Simmons. The South Shades Crest Teacher of the Year nominee is Amy Tomberlin. The South Shades Crest JSU Hall of Fame nominee is Angie Barnes. The Spain Park High School Teacher of the Year nominee is Amber Lewis. High School JSU Hall of Fame nominee is Mr. Todd Parker. The Trace Cross to read the wonderful work and the letters of recommendation from these teachers. And it is quite humbling to be able to do that and to know the very talented hands that our students are in. But we are charged with choosing some people from this group, from this very, very well-qualified group to represent our district. And I want to tell you all that any of you could have been our district nominee. But it is up to us to choose one person from each of these categories to go forward. So the person selected to represent Hoover City Schools as the elementary nominee in the Jacksonville State Teacher Hall of Fame is Tracy Engelwright from Our middle school representative for the JSU Hall of Fame to represent all of Hoover City Schools is Ms. Marva Raby from Buffas Middle School. Our high school representative to represent Hoover City Schools for JSU Hall of Fame is Mr. Todd Parker from Spain Park High School. And for our two teachers to represent us in the Alabama Teacher of the Year recognition program, Hoover City Schools Elementary Teacher of the Year is Ms. Catherine Flippo from Love Park Elementary School. And our secondary teacher of the year for Hoover City Schools is Mr. Vinny Shiramonte. So Jason, I'll let you, I don't know if you want any photos or anything. You're good? Okay, thanks. Oh, we do have Melissa Guthrie. I apologize, is Melissa here? I haven't seen her. We do have one new National Board Certified Teacher this year, and it is Miss Melissa Guthrie from Spain Park High School. So I will be sure that
Good evening. I'm Deborah Smith. I'm the Director of Career and Technical Education for Hoover City Schools. It is my privilege to highlight some of the wonderful aspects of our programs in honor of National Career and Technical Education Month. We are fortunate to have education and training, engineering, family and consumer science, finance, health science, information technology, television production, as well as cooperative education and career preparedness, which featuring highlights from the 2015-16 school year. Ms. Katie Butcher at Hoover High School is the first and only teacher in the state of Alabama teaching the new real estate course. We've had tremendous support from business and industry and look forward to growing this into a new academy in the future. Students in IT, health science, and family and consumer science have earned industry-recognized credentials, giving them the opportunity to go into the workforce immediately following high school or to use these skills while working part-time while attending high school or college. Our career tech student organizations have strong memberships and excel in competitions at the state and national level. Last year, 18 members of the IT Academy went to a national competition and 3 members placed. And our students are preparing for a stellar year again, getting ready to attend state competitions for HOSA, FBLA, and DECA. As we continue to give students hands-on, real-world experiences, we can see the benefits that they are gaining as learning comes to life. At this time, I would like to recognize Mr. Jason Zajac from Spain Park High School. Mr. Zajac is a Health Science Academy teacher for Spain Park, and he has been awarded the Health Occupation Students of America Mentor of the Year Award. Thank you, Mr. Zajac, for your commitment and your service to our students. And finally, as we continue to celebrate throughout the month of February, if any of you happen to visit one of our programs, please congratulate our teachers and students for a job well done. Thank you.
Thank you for all our teachers and all, thank you for our students. Really to our right, we don't have another board member, but Wood Collins is our attorney firm that we hired on in December. So since we do our job, a lot of dialogue with our attorney firm, we just got to have close by us to ask questions. So, move to action items. First on this, November 12, 2016 board meeting. Do we have a motion to approve minutes?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye. All opposed? Minutes have been approved. Next one, I have the personnel report. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Any questions? No questions from the board? All in favor say aye. All opposed? Next on our agenda is action items, financial report, payroll, and cash. Do I have a motion to approve? Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions? There's no questions or comments? All in favor say aye. All opposed? Next, science and textbooks adoption, elementary school. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions? No questions from the board? All in favor say aye. All opposed? Motion has been carried. Finally, 2017-18 school year calendar. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Any questions or presentations from Melanie?
We have some questions, Mr. President.
Yes.
Yes. President Murphy,
Yes.
I was wondering, is there Ms. Green, is there any way that we could table the vote of the 2017-2018 calendar? You know, I know all of that, asked a lot of questions when we passed the 2016-2017, and just to see how the 2016 year goes. We're coming back really early. I know that we have those years in the spring now, discussed it.
Sure. That's certainly up to the board.
Is there a reason that we're doing 2 years?
Again, that's up to the board. Dr. Markey had asked us to prepare something for you to look at, and that's what we've done. So the decision is not the calendar committees, it would be the boards.
I agree with Vince that the calendar this year like the fact that what we got. I don't know if the party thing was because all the other issues to see is school year starts.
Correct.
I agree. Mel, did you go through the same process on 17, 18 calendar as we did on 16, 17?
We did. The only thing different was that after we got the feedback, we went back and the calendar committee met. We added another parent to the committee, and we basically took the feedback and blended the 2 calendars into what you have in front of us, in front of you.
Well, I know
Same basic stuff.
we spent a lot of time and effort and sort of a lot of vetting this thing and soliciting input. Is there any drawbacks to tabling it for a while?
It's the board's pleasure.
From a parental perspective, how would you interpret that?
From a parental perspective,
Those people have been impacted votes, I'll still show up.
There really is no drawback to taking
No,
it.
there's
That's
not.
the desire of the board.
Fine.
We just simply wanted to be as proactive as we could in trying to share a calendar as opposed to a calendar. Certainly, even if this calendar was approved, if the board chose to do that, you can always amend the calendar, but it's also fine should you choose to table that. And we can see how the 15-16 year goes. Just trying to plan for it, but certainly have no concerns if it's tabled, or if we get out there and realize it needs to be amended. So pleasure to the board.
Thank you.
I would prefer, this is my call, either we table it or approve it, only because once we approve it, parents automatically start planning for the future. So we make it business, that's going to go on the way the process things, the probably losing money.
And that's the advantage.
And clarification, we're talking about 2017, 2018. So it was just that 2015, 2016. We've already approved 2016, 2017. So we're talking 20.
The calendar committee would be happy to come back to the table with that's what the board wants to do.
I'll tell you what, if Ms. Beach has a little more challenges with it, this is a question about it. I have no problem with the motion before the table, and we can bring that up next month. That won't be a problem, but I would prefer not to approve it and then parents plan.
Now, I think, I'm not thinking about next month, I'm thinking about next year.
Well, this is something to shoot down, I guess, in the sense that we could post it on the website as proposed, and people just kind of get what to expect. Who knows, the next president will give us another offer, never know.
Yeah. Do we have a motion on the table today?
So,
Second. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion has been tabled.
And just for clarification, the board shall we post that as a proposed draft or not to post it at the time?
I would not think it was proposed now, because you don't have anything else.
Thank you.
Wait for us,
Thank you. Next, we have informational reports.
No informational reports,
Any new business?
no new business.
Superintendent report.
Yes, I wanted to share with our board and also with our community. We presented presented our proposed rezoning plan last Thursday evening, and I am pleased with feedback that we're receiving. We have received 110 emails so far to our rezoning at Hoover K-12 address. We have had 109 of our community members take our survey, so I'm pleased that we're getting surveys completed and also getting emails that's giving us good information. We are reading all of the information that's coming to us. There's some really good ideas in those emails and the information that's being shared with us. There are a couple of things that we're bearing in mind as it relates to the rezoning, and that is that any adjustments that we make to our plan to strengthen that plan obviously has residual impact on other parts of the community. So as we're looking at and integrating, looking to be able to integrate some of those suggestions that come to us, as one piece of the plan changes, it doesn't generally change in isolation of impacting other parts of that plan, so I would point that out. I would also make note of the fact that there are two plaintiffs at the table with us, and those two plaintiffs have a vested interest in ensuring that we meet the desegregation obligations. And as we shared in our community meeting, we have pending litigation specific to unitary status. And so again, as a second thought to any adjustments that we make in our plan, for full clarification, obviously you have two other parties at the table that would want to have input and would need to reach agreement with us. So one piece changing impacts other parts of the community, and the other is that any changes in our rezoning plan necessitates all parties, including the Department of Justice and the Legal Defense Fund, the two plaintiffs in the desegregation court order, to be satisfied with those changes. Having said that, I will also say what I said on Thursday evening, and that is that those two plaintiffs have been very clear that this is our plan. This plan belongs to Hoover City Schools, but even in saying such, we would be remiss not to realize we have obligations that have to be met in order to achieve unitary status. I will not give the history of this again, but there just seems to be some concerns that we raised our hand and said, hey, look at us for unitary status, look at us for desegregation court orders, and I just want to remind our public that that's not the case, that this lawsuit backs all the way up to 1971, when we splintered, if you will, to use that term, which is the term the court uses, when we splintered from Jefferson County, when we removed ourselves from Jefferson County, we inherited and we brought with us the expectations, the obligations to meet the desegregation court order. When Judge Piccola took the bench, I think she took very seriously those cases for which school districts had not achieved unitary status, and it's been something for which she's been extremely committed as a judge, to help school districts achieve unitary status. And certainly unitary status is something that we want to acquire because frankly we feel like we're best positioned and best postured to make decisions for our school district without necessarily the input, and if I dare say, respectfully, any interference from the court. So in order for us to get to that place, we have to meet the obligations of the desegregation court order. So it's not always as easy as it might look or sound to move this street or that cul-de-sac or this subdivision. And again, please know how respectful I am for all of the advocating that all of you are doing on behalf of your community, and I respect that, and I fully believe that there's some good ideas that will make what I believe is a good plan, which we presented on Thursday, even better. But having said that, I do need us to be very thoughtful about the fact that we're not just meeting the expectations that we have of each other, even though it's our plan, we still must comply with courts. So my job will be to juggle those balls, to juggle the satisfaction of the court and the plaintiffs, at the same time that we're very thoughtful and respectful of the fact that many of you disagree with the rezoning plan that's been presented. And truly, we are excited to get your feedback. And I have no vested interest in this other than to get it right for children. And you're giving us input will get us closer to getting this plan right for our children. So thank you for the input we've already received. If you've not completed the survey, please allow me to encourage you to go to our website and to complete that survey and continue to share by way of emails to our website your questions and your concerns. Just a quick reminder that we do have 4 community meetings. Our first one will be this Thursday, the 11th, at Rocks Gap Intermediate School lunchroom at 6 p.m. And even though it's at Rocks Gap, and was specifically noted that this was for our Rocks Gap Intermediate School Deer Valley Elementary meeting, I do want you to know that you may come and share at any of the 4 meetings. You are not limited just to the one that may be connected to your current school. Please feel free. We will not cut you off if you have things to share and talk about for any of our schools in either of our feeder zones. So please know that you will have that forum. 4 meetings, 2 hours for you to share and to talk to us about the things that you believe would make this plan even better and stronger and more thoughtful for all of our students. So I look forward to that.
One good thing, I think it's helpful to note, it doesn't matter if you're impacted or not with respect to this rezoning. One of the things that everybody said, we don't need to do this again anytime soon. Okay? And you just had posted today some extremely valuable and insightful data on the website relative to the students, how many moved where, building utilizations. And when you look at that, it should be relatively apparent that it is, from a planning standpoint going forward and trying to avoid having to redo this the next year or 2, whatever, this is probably an optimal outcome so far.
Thank you. And I appreciate you mentioning that because we have posted some additional information, Jason, 24 to 5 o'clock or so this afternoon. Student population information, current versus our projected boundaries. Students identified for attendance zone changes by school, the number of students removing by racial composition, facility changes. So if you've not had an opportunity to go out to our website and see an additional document, please go out there to do so. Dr. Dotson worked vigorously this afternoon to help us finalize this piece. And Ron, I'm always grateful. He's our researcher and analyst, and as several others on our faculty are. So this is posted up. Please know that it is our interest and our desire to be transparent with this process. There are no hidden agendas, again, except for get this right for our students. So from this document, you'll see much of what drove our conversations, but also from those conversations, some end results of how this plan impacts our school district, our children, and our facilities. So I hope you find the document useful.
Dr. Murphy, you had mentioned about getting some information and possibly looking at making some changes. If that is the case, how will that be relayed? Will it be done in between meetings so that one meeting may be different from the meeting that you just had? Or will all 4 meetings take place and then the change be presented to the public?
Thank you. At the conclusion of each of our community meetings, we will regather, take a look at that, and share out, at least next day, with the Department of Justice and Legal Defense Fund, the information that we gleaned from that community meeting. And we'll all take a look at what the advantages and or disadvantages, positive impacts or not positive impacts, some of those recommendations might have on us. Because again, we're looking at any suggestions that come to us in terms of the impact on the whole and the impact on making sure that we meet those obligations. So we're not going to wait to get to the end of all 4 of those meetings before we're in constant and continual communication, sharing that with the Department of Justice and Legal Defense. To the extent they can respond back to us in real time and go, hey, that's a brilliant idea, let's do that, certainly we would, we'll be on hold to whatever extent that we're waiting for them to respond. I'll give you an example of a recommendation that came to me Thursday evening, which I think is a great idea, and I think it's something that we should do. A parent came up and said, what about those children who are first graders now, who would be zoned to go to South States Press for just 1 year, and for second grade, and then immediately thereafter changing to third grade to a different school? We should grandfather those children. It's the right thing to do for those children. So as we were thoughtful about trying to address our fourth grade students and our seventh grade students with grandfathering, it certainly would seem only fair and appropriate not to have those little ones 1 year in a school, next year in a school. So anything that we can do that makes it more palatable and right for our children and positive for the community is certainly something that we want to embrace, and we'll share those suggestions in real time to the other parties.
Dr. Murphy, any kind of update from the legislature? Meeting superintendents?
I was in meetings last week with School Superintendents Association legislative council meetings, and as you all know from your review and study, lots of interesting things out there happening. I am delighted to say that it looks as if for the first year in a long time there may be a pay raise coming for our teachers, so well deserving for our educators. A couple of recommendations on the table specific to that. One is a 2%, one's a 3%. I believe Representative Sellers has a bill on the table for 3, and I believe the governor spoke of a 2, or I may have that backwards. But I'm pleased that seems to be gaining some impetus to get a pay increase. There still seems to be some conversation about going back to the Education Trust Fund on the part of our governor, and perhaps tapping into that again. I hope that does not happen. The raise bill seems to be in perpetual change, constantly being tweaked, and I am not a proponent whatsoever of the raise bill as it was originally written, or as it currently is before the legislature. So lots of other bills will be out there specific to us, and I hope we'll all stay embraced in reviewing and seeing what's going on legislatively and its impact on our children and our school district.
Dr. Murphy, want to be clear, the raise bill is an actual bill for a teacher evaluation bill that Mr. Marshall can introduce. It's been tweaked, as you said, as it goes. Completely misunderstanding. REISC is not the same as giving a teacher a raise.
Yes. Good clarification. The raise bill has a number of caveats in there which just philosophically run them up to good educators, I think, in terms of how they want to proceed. And so if you're not read the raise bill, please read the latest version, and there's some real issues in that bill. I hope it does not gain traction. And but please read it.
Our next scheduled board meeting is March 14th, 5:30. It will be at Rocky Ridge Elementary School. Now we will have public participation. Time now is 6:18. We started 5 minutes late, so around 6:35. I'll cut it. Closing. We've been asked for disciplinary hearing. They can last up to 2 hours. We don't understand about that time as well. Just to make sure we have a great time for folks to speak, more representation for who will speak.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak before you today. My name is Denise Monti. My purpose here is to formally request additional information related to this rezoning process. The citizens of Hoover must be able to properly evaluate what is being proposed and its impact on our families. Now that the plan has been presented, I think it is critical to make this request formally as part of the public record. During the first round of community meetings in late 2015, we understood the goals of the rezoning process to be as follows. 1, address long-term capacity issues at both the elementary and high school levels. 2, satisfy the green factors in order to achieve unitary status. 3, preserve Hoover's unique system of community-based schools embedded in mature neighborhoods. These goals needed to be achieved within the context of the system's well-publicized budget challenges. The proposal that is before us is an unexpected departure from meeting all of these objectives. It appears to only address elementary school capacity and satisfying the green factors. Left completely unresolved are capacity concerns at the high school level and the sustainability of the financial aspect. Hoover's community-based schools have been severely impacted with 9 subdivisions and over 2,300 existing and future walkable households zoned into schools that require students to be bused. Given the proposal's departure from the goals and objectives outlined last fall, the citizens of Hoover need more information to understand the impact of the proposed rezoning plan all before attending the community meetings. We need greater access to all of the data that was evaluated. We need to understand how the data was evaluated and what specific measures are being evaluated to achieve the unitary status. We are requesting considerable increase in transparency. From our initial review, it appears that the community sacrifice to implement this plan is awfully high, while the benefits are not fully understood. I am presenting to you each a package comprising a request for additional information. This information will help families better understand the process that produced this proposal, how decisions were made, and the educational benefit that may or may not result for our children. We need to drill down deeper, not just to determine whether or not we should support this plan, but also to evaluate whether or not we should choose a different educational pathway for our children. It is my request that this information be compiled as quickly as possible. The families of Hoover City Schools can only effectively comment on the plan if this additional information is made in advance of commencement of the community meetings. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to your response.
Dear Board, my name is Casey Birdsong. I'm a resident of South Lake. First off, I want to thank you for all the community consideration. I know this is a very difficult task for you all. For our neighborhood, and I speak for South Lake, we'd like to be asked to request to continue to be zoned for River Chase. We've met with, there's only a total of 6 families that have elementary kids currently, a total of 12 in our entire neighborhood. And it only affecting those 6 families in a total of 12 students, we'd like to remain where we're currently at. Another point that we would like to point out is that our community is fully built out and in fact has no plans or availability for future growth. And it also is highly considered a retirement community. And even furthermore, there's only one entrance and one exit out of South Lake, which is situated almost at the intersection of I-65 and Valleydale, which, even though on a map, 65 looks like a nice line and South Lake grows into the east side, the only entrance is positioned right there, closer to the west side of the zoning area. And even that, with routing of the buses, currently the shortest route to River Chase is about 4 miles, where the shortest route to Rocky Ridge would then increase to 7.5 miles, and that would mean the children would have to get on Interstate 65 and 459 just to obtain that shortest route, and the other ones are almost double that. So I'd like to leave you guys this packet and appreciate your consideration in leaving South Lake the way that it's currently zoned. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Amy Rakes. I have 2 children at Gwynn and one that will be at Gwynn. I have 5 quick points I want to make. The numbers that are on the rezoning information that was posted this afternoon are not correct. The current enrollment for the schools are not correct. It lists Gwynn as having 601 currently enrolled. We have 572. During the year it fluctuates, but it's never fluctuated up to 600. That's an extra 30 kids, which would be an extra classroom. We haven't had that issue. So when you're looking at the numbers, you can't tell whether we're going to end up at 592, the way it says, which would be a decrease, or whether we're going to end up an extra 20 over where we are now.
What school?
When? I've also talked to parents at other schools, and they don't think their numbers are correct, but I don't have backup for that.
It's the promoted numbers, not the current enrollment. It's the promoted numbers.
Well, the column says current enrollment, so it makes it a little hard to tell.
It says current versus projected boundaries. So it's the populated, the student population in 2016.
Ron, can you get up at, it says student population 2016, 2017.
What I had before 5:30 today was from a screenshot that was presented to the faculty, and it didn't have that at the top.
Yeah, it's the current boundaries versus the projected boundaries. Student population in 2016-17. So it's the promoted students. It would be the second graders promoted to third graders, fourth grade promoted to fifth grade. Kindergarten was created by taking the current senior class and then basically demoting them back to kindergartners so we could have a representation of where students are, since we don't know who the kindergartners are.
So it's projected that we'll have 30 extra students next year if we stay exactly where we are.
Yes.
Okay, I'll have to look back at those numbers. There's no legal requirement that this be settled this year. In 1991, the court case said that all school systems that were still under the desegregation order needed to work toward getting out. Well, getting out next year versus adding 1 more year is not going to make a difference, and it would give everybody a chance to get more comfortable with the rezoning. The maps that are being used, I don't know if those are what's presented to the LDF and the DOJ, but they're not correct. They don't show the Preserve Parkway dead ends into Gwynn. So for us that live here, we know it, and we know how silly that looks to remove that community from Gwynn. But for the DOJ, if they're looking at it, they may not know that that is a walking distance school, and to move it out doesn't make sense. The poverty percentage between the schools is not allocated proportionally under the current plan. That was part of the problem with the LDF, is that we are not proportional right now. Gwynn ends up very high, Green Valley still ends up very high. It's not proportional, so that problem isn't solved by the current plan. And the proposed plan will cost hundreds of thousands of dollars in new bus routes. I can't calculate that amount, but I know last board meeting we discussed how much it costs to buy those 6 new buses I think we just bought. It was a huge amount of money. Well, just for the Gwynn area, it's probably going to take 2 additional buses, plus the bus drivers, plus the gas mileage and everything else to take students further away than they have to be. So I think we need to, and I think there's some neighborhoods in Bluff Park that were also affected the same way, where they can now walk to school. They're too close to have buses, but they're now being shipped further away where you have to provide buses. So I think someone needs to look at the cost of the bus routes. We're already struggling as it is. Those are my 5 points. Thank you very much.
Just one quick comment. Information was posted
new information was posted. Information was posted prior to 5 o'clock today. So on rezoning, absolutely.
My question, and my name is Michelle Calabrese. I do have 1 child at Glenn and 2 at Hoover High School. But my question is about what was added at 5 o'clock. I think, Dr. Murphy, you said that it was added, information was added with regard to student population by racial composition. Would that be after the rezoning? And in an email to about the rezoning efforts, my husband and I wondered if that could be made transparent. When Andy Craig came to our house and we had a neighborhood meeting in the Preserve last year, with regard to the high school, all of that, talk about the rezoning. We were able to see at every school those percentages. He showed us the percentages of that racial composition, not just saying poverty, this and that. It was percentages. And that's when we realized, wow, Trace Crossings is, this is way off. But like someone just said, to have Gwen High, Nongre, Valley High, where is it going to, where's the equilibrium? And would we be able to see, and would that be an easy task? If you're putting those percentages on after the rezoning, could you easily just pop them on there for us before and after? And could we also see some of the alternatives? Well, let us show you, hey, if Preserve stayed here and Lake Crest went here, this is what would happen, and this is why it works better this way. That's what I think we need, those answers. Show us a few options. We don't need to know that. I know it's so much when, I can't even imagine what went into it, the efforts, or what model you used, but once you plug those numbers in, if we could see the results, this is what we have, this is why this is best, simply with a map, with a percentage, with a graph, with some percentages, if that's possible. That was my request. Thank you very much.
If I'm not mistaken, the posting of impact was posted by the product, and that's back when Kristen was on that. The new information, was posted prior to product.
It has pre and after. It has before the rezoning and after.
Oh, it's existing versus proposed.
Yeah. It would be really helpful in order to present a case on why we think it would be better. It would be helpful to see the before and afters for every school, even every community. If the numbers are out there and you have them, could we know them? Yeah. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Marianne Pitts, and I'm a lifetime resident of Hoover City. I teach French at Hoover High School, and my children currently go to Gwen Elementary. We moved to Gwen this year. We have been also at Deer Valley and had fabulous experiences. I'm a huge proponent of public school, and I'm a huge proponent of community school. I would like to propose a couple of options. I have emailed these, and I will do so, but I would like to have them on record. And this is simply my recommendation. One recommendation I have is in regard to Preserve, Highland Crest, and the Alcere neighborhoods, Atkins Trim. My proposal is that those go back to Gwen. My proposal is that Trace Crossings neighborhood to the right of Trace Crossings go back to Trace Crossings where they have been. And because that is their community school, that is their walking distance school. Preserve is a walking neighborhood. We walk to our school every day. We walk home from our school in the afternoons. And the other thought that I had was about South Chase Crest, because I know how the traffic is terrible getting into and out of South Chase Crest. And Rocks Gap it is very hard to get into Lake Cyrus and out of Lake Cyrus. And I don't know if this has been thought of, but I think that a K-5 for Trace Crossings, South Shades Crest, and go ahead and make Rocks Gap a K-5 school. And how happy would all those citizens in Lake Cyrus be if they could go K-5 right there in their neighborhood, right there in their community? That is the suggestion that I have for the board. Thank you very much.
I'm Crystal Wilkerson. I also live in South Lake and didn't plan on coming down to speak again, but we forgot something. Bus routes. We would like to know what the proposed bus routes are under the new plan. And if that's available somewhere, just put an easy link on the rezoning website, because I think it's imperative as parents for us to know the particular route our kids will be taking to get to school, especially when the easiest route is to interstates.
would not be impacted. And look where it got us. Our neighborhood of Trace Crossings consists of 7 neighborhoods. Now 5 of our neighborhoods that are termed Trace Crossings will not be allowed to attend Trace Crossing Elementary. My concern is I have a first grader, and I'm glad that you brought that up earlier. If my first grader has to go to South Shades Crest and then to another school, that's 3 schools in 3 years. He's 6 years old. He won't turn 7 until right before he goes into first grade. That's a lot for that young of a child to handle. And I appreciate the grandfathering of him, but what about our younger siblings? Will he be allowed to go to Trace where my younger siblings will have to go to South Shades Crest and split them again? And we have a lot of families with me this evening that are in that same boat. We all have first graders with younger siblings. We would love to keep our kids at Trace Crossings. Trace Crossings was built as a community, as a development, as an all-inclusive, which means we can live there, go to school there, do our business there. Everything that I do is in my community. My pediatrician is there, my family doctor is there, my dentist is there, my school is there, my church is there. Everything I do is within 1.5 miles of my house, and now you're asking me to go to South Shades Crest, then to Bronx Gap, and to move my children all over the place. So what impact does that have on our community? Not only our children, but our property value. No one is going to want to move into my community if they're going to know that their children are going to have to go all over the creation to go to school when we have a community school and it was built as such, a community.
That's true.
To stay all inclusive. Trace Crossing was the very first community in Hoover that was pre-planned, pre-developed. And you Google any website on the BirminghamHomeReview.com, it tells you exactly what Trace Crossings was built for. And it was acceptance of a community feel to encourage our children, to give them stability and consistency, to be able to do everything in our backyard. And now our backyard's ripped apart. We can't even be a community with our 7 subdivisions. So when we come together tomorrow to discuss this, those are going to be the things that we discuss. What's it going to do to our property value? And I hope that our realtors get involved in this. I've spoken to several of them today on the phone. And if you go onto realtor.com right now and look, and you pull up my address, yesterday it said that my children go to Trace Crossings. Today it says that they go to South Shades Crest. Why is realtor.com already changing our information when this is not set in stone? But these are just some of the points that I'd like to get across. So thank you, I appreciate it.
Can you give us a name, please?
It's Sephra Faulkner.
Stephanie.
Sephra, S-E-P-H-R-A. Last name is Faulkner, F-A-U-L-K-N-I-E-R. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Amen. Amen.
This basically back Thursday, February 5th. And the goal of the board is to make sure that we are at all 4 of those meetings, unless something takes place, but we shall. The board has determined the need for a discussion. Mr. Calvin has approved the request. Do I have a motion for executive session? Do I have a second? All in favor, say aye. All opposed? The reasoning for the executive session will be this period hearing and also real estate. We're looking at possibly around 2 hours, but not greater. No business will be conducted after executive session. Time now is 6:39. Thank you.